But yeah, we should be having Tricky come in. There he is.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hold on, give us a second to fix audios. Can you talk real fast, Tricky?
I guess I'm set. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, I
I'm
can.
good on my side. Are you good, Kyler?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, but so Tricky.
I like the paper turning.
Are you ready to find out what's in the boxes?
I guess.
Well, too bad we're not going to start with those questions.
Okay. If you insist.
We're going to start off simply just because right now, with everything that's been happening within the race, can you give us some insight of what was happening with Edge's back tires?
Okay, so you're talking about when he was spinning out there?
Yeah, we noticed one of the tires was inwards a little bit more.
Yeah, so what ended up happening was he got into a collision there coming through one of the corners and got his alignment all screwed up on the rear end. And when that happens, you lose grip really easily. He wasn't aware of the extent of the damage until he started to try and take a corner. And by then it was too late. So we were just trying to avoid additional damage. We didn't expect that to happen at all, but that's the risk you take when it comes to this stuff.
Of course, yeah.
It honestly, though, seemed like it hit on a low key of a perfect time because it was around the time that y'all needed to switch drivers anyways.
Yeah, well, actually, we were sitting really good for fuel.
Okay.
Like, we were considering extending his stint by almost 4 laps. So he technically should have been able to go 8 more laps, which would have given us a bit of an advantage going into later on in the race. Instead, we had to cut it short, which kind of sucks, but, you know, it is what it is. We have to roll with the punches. We were the last on the last car in the lead lap at the time. Best guess is now we're probably a lap down.
Okay, that's not too bad. It's a pretty. You can get back onto that.
Oh, sure. Definitely. It all depends on what happens with everybody else. And everybody started off with their ringers from what we could tell.
Yeah.
How's everyone?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, you go.
Oh, I was going to say, just that's something that we've been discussing off and on, is that it seems like the approach that G&L is taking between you and Edge is very unintrusive. You guys are here to set your times. You guys seem to be here to really focus on your positions, your lines, and that's it. And if somebody comes to attack and they're in a position to attack that's smart, most of the time I'm seeing you guys not really burn energy to contest unless it seems extremely beneficial in the long term. Whereas I'm seeing a lot of the teams here kind of fighting for aggression early, which in my head would anyway lead to fatigue much earlier on.
Definitely. Yeah, there's been a lot of aggression from other teams, especially the GTPs. Some of the maneuvers those guys have been doing, which is what I was afraid of going into this, is that the lower level teams that we're in this stint with were going to cause the biggest problems, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
Okay. How's everyone's mood though within the team? Because I see all of y'all have been in there, kind of hearing everyone out and listening to internal comms.
Sure, everything seems good in terms of like their mood. Edge is really anxious about during his stint. I don't know how Rally's doing because I'm not listening in at this point, but he was really interested in getting in and getting going. Says has not slept nearly as much as we expected her to, which might be a concern later on during the day here, because she's a bit of a night owl, and her not having put in, a solid 12 hours of sleep like she usually gets, might cause a little bit of issue later on. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
How do you prepare for unencountered situations like that? Do you guys have somebody on retainer as a backup?
Technically, but we have no choice. So the way the system works is we have to race our fair share for all for all designated drivers.
Right.
So I designated all 5 of us as drivers. We all have to drive at least 1/4 of the most laps turned by any one driver. So if I turn 100 laps, everybody else has to turn 25.
I see. Makes sense.
But if someone doesn't show, then we're screwed, because we literally cannot get them any laps, which means our team is disqualified.
Makes sense. So it's a high risk, high reward still situation to have a retainee.
Right. And so what we'd probably do is, if she's having issues through her stint, we'd probably try and get her to slow down, extend her out to say 28 laps, and have that be her only stint.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
And then we'd swap in somebody else.
Right.
Someone
Make the
who
call to
isn't
burn the
burning
energy
most.
when it's there.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Okay. I guess we can kind of go into some of the questions that we had pre-prepped to get your mind a little off of the anxiety, I guess, or the stress of kind of the recent events. But what are some personal ritual prior that you do to the race?
Oh, man. Okay. So I went and grabbed a ton of snacks.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a bag of Lay's, baked goods, a whole case of Monster, and then a case of Diet Pepsi. I write down everything that I can. You were hearing me flip through my pages here. Mm-hmm. This is all my notes about what's going on. That starts days in advance. And then going into it, it's set up, use the restroom, come back, practice, use the restroom again, then come back again. It's like back and forth. The last thing I want is to be uncomfortable during the race.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
So everything I can do to mitigate that is a huge part of my routine. I try and avoid any sort of music, any sort of distractions that are not race related. And then I do a lot of investigation on what other teams are looking like during the practice.
Okay. So safe to say, because one of our other questions was if you have a personal race day playlist, but if you are avoiding music that's not race related, you don't have one. So you're just full sin raw dogging it essentially, and just
have to. So I'm one of those, as a former musician performer, I have a tendency to get into the music too much and try and sing along, which is a distraction. It's using brain power that I need to focus on putting my eyes in the right spot, making the turns at the right point, and all that.
That was another question I was going to ask, is if that kind of mentality is parodious throughout your other forms of work. We were talking earlier about how racing itself is a craft akin to a musician studying their instrument, or a woodworker getting familiar with their materials in shop. And I'm wondering if that is kind of, if you treat this any differently from maybe some other hobbies or processes that you do, in terms of, hey, this is my get shit done mode. So these are my, turning the blinders on. If you do that in, say, other environments, or if that's something that's unique to racing.
It is and it isn't. So there's different phases. So I'm a national level paintballer. I am a musician, and I'm also a sim racer. So in paintball, when we're doing scenario games like that, we have a motto, which is fight like you train like you fight. So in order for me to prepare, we were preparing for almost 3 months for this particular race. Every time I would drive without anybody on the track, and during test sessions, I would be running music. I'd be increasing the distraction level as much as humanly possible. So anything and everything I can do to throw myself off. So that way, during my time on track, I already have that planned mitigation of distraction, because every driver and everything on the track, and your spotters and everybody else in the channel, they're all a massive distraction too. So anything I can do to learn to deal with that during practices is useful.
Very cool.
But of
I
course,
like
if I was performing live, I wouldn't be listening to a different song.
Also fair enough, yeah.
That's true.
Let's see. I'm trying to find my list of other ones that I'd thrown as well. I keep popping between channels.
I had put yours, just by the way, in the original box.
Yeah.
That way it was easy access.
Yep. Let's see. So we covered the ritual itself. We kind of covered the mindset, everything like that. How are conditions on the track now currently compared to what you guys have been preparing for? Is this kind of in line for what you guys expected?
Yes and no. So prior to the race, we got a forecast on weather and what we were expecting for overall track temperatures and everything like that. So we purposely set what was expected for minimums and maximums for temperature, so that we could gauge tire wear and overall grip conditions. The thing that we couldn't emulate is obviously other drivers. So that has become the main challenge here. But yeah, everything's looking right and looking stable compared to what we had come up against in practice.
Yeah, we've been talking a little bit about how conditions within the sim, obviously in real life too, but within the sim are so accurate, sharing a lot of the information you shared with us from a couple days ago about the scans and water flows and things like that. And I think that we may be seeing some of those things taking effect with some of the spins as well. I've seen a couple contact patches through turns that already seem sketchy. Do you think I'm pretty?
Sure.
Thank you. Let's see. Has anything outside?
As any man can be.
Has anything in terms of like the process today kind of already taken over as a personal achievement in terms of just yourself through your laps, or even the team as a whole?
For myself, I'm pretty proud of the fact that we started 32nd, came up to 12th.
That's awesome.
That's really good.
I was very happy with that. That's a personal achievement I'm content with so far. Everybody else, based on what I'm seeing for performance thus far, everybody's kind of lining up with what's expected. Nobody's letting the stress get to them, which in and of itself is an achievement. Everybody's trying to learn as much as they can from this one as we move deeper into the season and move to the next races. So
the whole team to me so far, in terms, obviously very limited window of interaction, but through motions on the track, through the way that they're taking turns, through the way that they're really sticking to their lines, everybody so far that I've seen seems very level-headed. You guys both seem very taking it as it comes, rolling with the punches. None of this seems inherently new to you, other than maybe just some of the individual challenges you'll face, which is of course how racing works. That's what that energy is.
Yep.
I was seeing if there's another one. It looks like the race day playlists. Do you think with the assistance from nothing but the radio tower that you could probably land a fully packed 747 in the event that there's an emergency?
I don't need the assistance from the radio tower.
Oh, confident man.
Chad, man, I love it. That's what we need in this race.
I'm a trained pilot.
Well,
so
then there we go. We're good to go. Look at that.
I didn't know that.
I better be able to land a 747.
I would hope so, yes. Yeah.
That is hilarious. I actually did not know that,
I'm
Tricky.
so jealous, dude.
Wait till Flyer gets his license as well, then you can be double jealous. Okay, so then I have a little bit more of a serious tone question for you then, Tricky.
Sure.
When can you give us an estimate of when the last time you've looked in the mirror and told yourself that you were pretty?
Probably never.
That's so sad.
I don't know any man who actually has that actually takes themselves seriously.
I think it's been a hot minute for me. I didn't use pretty, but it wasn't far off. This isn't me peeing. It could be.
I was just making sure, you know.
I'm staring at the mirror right now, actually. Spilling my water. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, one of the things that we actually complimented on, speaking of beautiful and pretty, was the design of the car, actually. Like the way that the colors were laid out. Did you do that on your own, or did you have someone do that?
That is a design by me. The actual like livery, the logo was designed for me by a Fiverr assistant guy. I don't know what to call people on Fiverr. Consultant. Let's go with consultant.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the only part of the car that wasn't designed by me. Everything else was designed inside a livery editor within Trading Paints.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, so it's designed within Trading Paints itself. Is Trading Paints an editor as well?
Yes. When you have the pro variant of Trading Paints, it allows you to go in and choose templates of potential designs and do the layouts and choose the color scheme. So yeah, it allows you to drag and drop in images and everything else. For iRacing itself, the editing in that for liveries is very limited.
Makes sense. It's I really like the just the high contrast. It's very striking.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I wanted something that stuck out. When you saw the car, you knew it was our car.
It also helped put in the pressure for the mirror psychology of it all.
Yes. You might have seen during my laps and even Edge's laps, when we were coming up on people, I would purposely stick my nose in so that we would show up in their mirror and they'd go, oh crap, he's there. So that way I could back off and they start making poor decisions going through corners.
Yep.
Yeah. We saw exactly that happening, and we even commented on it as it was going through, because shortly after that happened, I remember one of the guys spun out, and we complimented. We were like, good job, Trick. We knew exactly what was happening with that situation.
Yeah. Hold him hard enough that his focus is drawn at the moment that he needs it, and he just loses traction and you roll with it.
Exactly. The psychology of racing is very fascinating to me because the stresses involved are high. The necessity of focus at the right moments. Certain people need perfect silence. Other people need a constant stream of information. One of the off tracks that Edge had while I was coaching him here was actually because he was trying to respond to me. So I had asked him a question about tire temperatures, and he looked down at the wrong moment and went off track.
Yep, it can happen. It can happen in a moment, and it's striking how much of management within that too is coordinating and learning the time to learn even the appropriate times for communication too. That's some really great stuff that I've seen in the very minimal time of interacting with this team, is that you're not only hyper aware of your role as a manager, but you're also hyper aware of your team's roles in terms of how they're going to respond to that stimuli too.
I try to. I'm not always successful. Oh, they're flashing him. I'm watching the view that's a few seconds ahead. So in a second, you'll see one of the GTPs come up behind Rally and flash his lights.
Yep.
Right
so then,
now.
The YouTube is also delayed slightly. So our version in Discord is going to be the same as what you're seeing.
Gotcha. Okay. Understood. So yeah, no, that hasn't happened to us yet, surprisingly, that we've noticed, but we've been seeing it a lot from the spotter view.
Now, what is it that is? Is that a signal intentionally, like something for you guys to digest? Does it mean something for you guys? Is it another part of the psychology, or?
It's a mix of both. So if you are of a different race class, so there's 3 race classes in this. You got the GT3s, which we're running, the GPTs, which are the ones that look like airplanes without wings, and then you've got the Dolera 219s or something like that. I can't remember what their designation is, but the ones that do not look like real cars, those are essentially Formula One and Indy cars with a body.
Wow.
That's probably the blue one that we're seeing.
Yeah, the Scooby-Doo one.
Given the power that they have. Ooh, looks like somebody had an issue going into the pit.
Yeah.
Yep, that's going to be a massive issue for anybody who's trying to enter the pits immediately after them.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this is panning out quite well. would have done without the spin, but what can you do?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically,
just
too,
roll
if you
with
can
it.
get it out early, might as well get it out early rather than late.
Sure.
So then the cars that y'all are mainly focusing on are obviously the ones that match your car with the Porsche. Does that mean the ones that you were talking about, like the F1 lookalikes, you all are just completely ignoring those essentially, and y'all are just letting them pass?
So multi-class racing works kind of like this. There are 3 races going on all at the same time. We are only competing with the GT3 cars. So it's all about traffic management. We can use their passing or them passing us. We use each other to give ourselves opportunities within our own race class.
So them being other classes real fast.
Yeah, so the GT3s are a different class, GTP and Dallara 219s. Those are all different race classes running their own race at the same time. All endurance races are essentially run like this, including the most famous one, Le Mans in France. That has like 6 or 8 different race classes at the same time. And it's just crazy because you'll be, if you're a faster car, you'll be in a pack coming up on a slower car, and if you position yourself just right, you can scrape people off on the slower cars, giving you that opportunity to make a pass that just wasn't happening without them.
It's akin to just kind of using traffic flow in order to guide your it's kind of like if you're cruising through a pack of traffic and you're trying to just find the easiest way to bypass it.
Yeah.
Correct.
You got to kind of predict who's going to do what, who's going to flow where based on how you've seen them driving already, and then try to find your opportunity and hold it.
Yep. Precisely.
So here's another race question for you. The 25, I've noticed, because that has changed. I thought for a split second there that it was like the amount of laps that the car has taken. What does the 25, the digital 25 signify?
It's its current position.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad positional change then from where things were at either.
Yeah, we lost a few. So we lost about 12, all because of taking the early pit, in addition to taking an additional 19 seconds to fix the rear alignment. So I'm not sure, because I didn't stick around to find out how the alignment's holding up. Let me take a look at the lap times. It looks like Rally is holding 2.8s. And if that's the case, then 2 6s, 2 4s. So he's not doing two. Oh, wait, that's Edge. Sorry. Rally 224. 212, 209, 27, 26, 29. Okay, so he's not doing too bad. That's in line with what we expect his lap times to be. And if that's the case, then we should be in good shape with the alignment. It might be a couple of degrees off. He shouldn't have too bad of traction issues. And I'm not seeing anything funky looking on the car at this point.
No, it looks new.
Yeah. Hard to tell without feeling the wheel and knowing how far it's off, but you know, I guess I'll find out in about 2 hours.
That was another question that I had for in terms of repairs that you guys have. How do you decide fix versus replace? Is that a thing that you guys have to juggle and manage?
No, so the only things that we get to choose is fuel and tire replacement. We don't get to choose what specific repairs are done. We're presented with an optional repair timing.
I see.
And we can choose to pull away before that's complete, or we can choose to sit and wait for that to complete for us. And when that's the case, which we chose, the team chose to do, then the car was essentially undrivable. As you kept seeing, the car kept going off. We were going to be losing 20 to 30 seconds a lap if that was not repaired.
Yeah. Which is a big time suck for sure.
Yeah, that's make or break for everything.
Yeah.
This is a great little skirmish back and forth here too, and a beautiful overtake right there.
Yep, that's one of the...
So nice.
Yeah, that GTP is going to take every opportunity to make the pass where they can.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could see the space that they had made for them as well. You can see him try to slip in behind to get the slipstream and then overtake. You can see that they're working together to try to continue, but it seems like every racer is in the mindset of, this is my track. This is exactly this is my lap, which is where everybody should be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Which, I'm going to go off tangent here for a quick second. I love and also am slightly concerned with the fact that the team is already like keeping track of the silly things that we say. Sezwa has already put in 2 of our quotes. And then I just see Star put in a recording, which I'm afraid to listen to.
This isn't me peeing. It could be. I forgot I said that. My bad. It could be.
So I think as a side tangent, we should honestly have a quotes channel for things that get said on stream.
On stream.
Fair enough.
I think that'd be a fun one. I have is the cat? Oh yeah, I want to. Yeah, so in the last less than hour, we've already broken through with "I want to see your dad become a cat girl," and this isn't me peeing, but it could be.
I do want to see him become a cat girl, though.
I could see it. I could see him as like a tactical waifu.
Yeah.
If he had like the maid outfit and then like the bulletproof vest over it.
Yeah.
Once I get back in shape, I'm going to a con as that. Are you guys in?
Oh, I thought you were going to say I'm going to make my dad do that.
Yeah, once I'm back in shape, I'm going to make my dad into a cat girl.
Which, by the way, I hope he was still in the stream and was listening whenever that came up.
I have no idea. That'd be funny as shit.
He was here at the very beginning. He said hello
did he?
at the start. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, speaking of your dad, he's in chat.
Oh, I missed it.
That would make things weird for me. I've met him multiple times.
How do you think I feel?
Kyler came out of him in some ways.
Yeah.
I was birthed. I was dad birthed. I'm sorry.
I'm preg real.
Tyler doesn't have a mom. He's just all male.
Well, I'm a tube baby. It's just not test tubes. It's 2 meat tubes.
Ooh, that was a wide turn.
Yeah, it was. Oh man.
Where's he at? Here, let me take a look at.
That 21, it looks like.
He's 14 laps in.
Great rebound catch on that. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that weight just snapped on it.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, he's starting to feel the wear on those tires.
Yeah.
So after about 15 laps, the wear starts setting in. I had hopped into the stream here and listened to you guys talking about mitigating fatigue.
Yes.
And the point in time where you thought I was mitigating fatigue, I was actually mitigating tire wear.
Makes sense. That makes total sense because they'll present the same way too outwardly.
Yep. Yep. So
hot 14... exit there for that guy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just saw it. I thought he was hitting the wall there.
Yep.
No problem. Yeah, after 14 or 15 laps, the tires start to wear down, and any temperature in them starts to make them extra slick. So we start having to extend our braking zones and choose very carefully where we're apexing corners.
Makes a lot of sense. Do you guys typically, while doing a driver swap, switch tires right off the bat so everybody's coming in fresh, or will you usually do a handoff and let them cool down a little bit?
Nope, we're doing fresh tires, full fuel, and then driver swap. So we're doing it all at the same time. Nice. We discussed the possibility of leaving worn tires on the car and double stinting them. But as it turned out, based on numbers, we weren't going to save much time doing that. And in fact, we were going to lose time because of people coming in on essentially worn slicks.
Right, that makes sense.
Because after my stints, the tire percentage remaining was something like 60%. And at that point, you might as well just be driving a fucking, what do you call it, hovercraft. The way it's slipping around.
No traction, just sliding and...
Yeah.
So I know we talked about the potential change up for Sezwa's stints. Has there been any other talks about the change of the driver schedule otherwise? Just so we know who's driving in the future?
We really haven't planned any sort of changes at this point. Things are shaping up to look correct. We might be a little early on the schedule changes, but it should all be the exact same order.
Perfect.
There's an inside pass.
Yep. Giving him plenty of space for that, though.
Mm-hmm.
He's keeping up even on that wide. Ooh, choke out there, though. But even then, keeping up on that wide of a space through those turns is that's a lot of pressure on those outer tires.
Oh, sure. Got it. I see why you let him by. That is a lap down car in 29th place that he let by. All the other GT3 cars that are surrounding besides that car are all a lap up on us.
Wow. So yeah, that guy's got to book it for sure.
Yeah, he's got to get way up. How, this is a bounce back. How much fuel do you guys usually burn in an average racer's, like, stint? Is it about one tank, or?
It's almost precisely a full tank. So we gauged our stints based on the fuel load and tire wear.
Okay.
And we could go another 4 to 5 laps on the tires, but we are burning roughly a gallon every lap. And we have roughly 26 gallons in the tank.
Okay. Man, this is... Now that he's right back into a pack, like this is really good back and forth from everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, the car behind him right now is actually in second place for GT3.
Beautiful.
So you get a good comparison of where he's sitting by the difference of him and what one of the top teams kind of looks like.
Beautiful on that turn. Oh. Something about that body line on the Porsches too, but they always just look like they're on rails. They just look so grounded.
Oh, sure.
Beautiful looking cars.
Okay. This is the time though where I need to take my break.
Yeah, go for it.
And do my stint off. But I will be back at around like 5 in 2 hours. So.
Sounds good. Well, I am going to jump off as well, unless you have any other questions for me before I go.
I got nothing for you.
Yeah, I'm good to go. If you guys need anything specific from me, obviously ping me.
Sounds good. You'll be seeing me hop back in the car right around 4 o'clock. So, we'll catch you back then.
Oh, so is it not Star that's switching off after Rally?
It's going to be so Rally and Star are swapping positions. So Star is going to hop into the car. Rally is going to be his crew chief. Oh, right. I'm basing it on my time zone. I'm sorry. Your time zone, I'm in at 5:07.
Okay.
Even still, for that on the spread, it looks like that's supposed to be Edge, and then you're at 6.
Well, technically, I'm in the car at 6. I'm crew chiefing for Edge at that point.
Okay, but you're not like
I'm not driving at that
I
point.
see
I'm
Edge.
back.
I see Edge as the
back
driver
sitting.
at that time lane.
Yep. I'm sitting back down at that point. I'm back. So I'll be watching. I'll be watching the stream very intently as I'm trying to find food somewhere.
No worries. Cool.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Good luck with everything else.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys.
Send the team our best.
Will do.
And so I'm drowning in them constantly. And
At least
So-
you're on.
for some reason, I was in a kitchen that's not my own. It was very homey. It felt comforting.
Hi, Tricky.
Hello.
Turkey.
Hi.
Well, that was a fun stint.
How's that Adderall?
Adderall.
You made a joke about it earlier. Anyway, also, bitch, she sent me an Uno reverse card.
Yes. Because you were calling me names, and I told him to call you the name back.
Kaplow. I should 3D print a reverse card to keep in my wallet for if I get pulled over.
There you go.
I'll make another one that just says, "Officer, please shoot me."
Oh no.
No.
This is a threat.
No.
It just says this.
Threat officer.
This is a
I
threat.
might actually do that.
Oh my god.
The back of it says, "I'm reaching."
I'm
Oh,
reaching.
It's just a hard card that says I'm a flight risk.
Your Honor, it's notarized.
Your Honor, nuh-uh. I plead the fifth.
Your Honor, nuh-uh.
Yeah, are you here to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Well, shit, I guess.
But Your Honor,
You just don't get it.
we find you guilty.
That's totes not vibes.
You just stand up with your hands in your pockets and stump your feet, like turn around, like.
Oh god. Yeah, this is just a vibe of what's been all day, Tricky, by the way.
Gathered that. I've tuned in a couple of times.
What's here?
All sorts of stuff. I plan to go through and pick up highlights to compile down for race highlights and also stream highlights to put up. I'm gonna have to watch literally the entire thing.
I'm going to be extremely excited to see the streamer highlights because it's so fucking hilarious. Half of the shit we talked about.
You might want to talk to Soup if you don't have an editor in mind, because she may be interested.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'm
So
cool
she
with
would
that.
probably get very excited about that.
There's a lot of editing potentially in the future.
Oh yeah, you can watch like 6 hours of the video, and you can let her watch the other 6 hours for when it comes to breaking it down and editing. But
Yeah.
watching through fully, you do that.
Race edits will not be her forte, but if you just want an absurd TikTokable
funny
shit
clips.
post, yeah, she's your gal for it. She'll pull a gold mine
I'm
out
not
of the
even
stream.
gonna tell them what we talked about.
I think
'cause I'm gonna leave
over
it for
half
a
of it I've
mystery.
already forgotten. So
Same.
I have very good memory. I have bad short-term memory for some reason. So I remember when I entered. So
I'm gonna refer to gaining sentience as when I entered from here on out. Thank you for that.
gaining sentience.
Bro, I feel like I entered in a fucking Kroger, like a Stop and Shop hallway or some shit. I just kind of like woke up and I was like a 7-year-old
Shapes and
there or whatever.
colors. Wow.
Do you remember spawning?
I can't.
Bro, you
No, the
spawned?
doctors were spawn camping me. I
You
can't
spawned?
relate, man.
Bro, I was summoned by Terminal.
Oh my goodness.
I was removed as a tumor.
There it is, Toad. That's the one.
Oh, there. Yeah.
Hold on, I have to
Alright, I
Google
think
it.
I'm gonna finish up the story so I can take my leave for the night, folks. Goodness. But, so there was this woman with, like, black hair. She kind of had, like, I can't remember if it was yellow or white or gold, like, underneath. Like, kind of like a surprise. I forgot what it's called, the hair type. The dye type style, I forgot what it's called, but basically that she had, I can't remember much of what her face looked like at all. It was like her face just didn't exist. And she had the only thing I could saw of her face was there was a moon upside like crescent symbol that was kind of like laying on its backside. And her voice was warm, she was gentle, she was kind, and I was just talking to her, and I put a tissue, you know, because sometimes when I blow my nose, I have a little tissue piece I just pop on my nose for a second to just let it sit sometimes.
Yeah.
I pulled it out and it became this very long strand for some reason. And then suddenly, I cough up a little blood. And then what follows is black liquid starts to intensely pour out of my nose. And she hurriedly takes me over to the sink, holds me over it, and says, "Breathe through your mouth, it's going to be okay." And I'm staring at the sink for like a few minutes, and I'm feeling like light as a feather and more relief as more of this black liquid's leaking out, and suddenly I wake up. So I don't, like, part of me thinks that's maybe her trying to help guide me through these heavy emotions. I know it was Hecate, because there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
I don't know any women in my life that are like that, with like black hair. So,
Yeah.
And she gave a like intense, comforting vibe. And I rarely have first-person dreams.
Yeah. That's cool.
So I intensely think I had a moment with Hecate.
I like it.
Yeah.
I give that story 7 watermelons out of 13 pomegranates.
It is shining like 3 seeds of pomegranates in my hands.
Yep. Alright, it's officially hit 6 hours for me being here. I am going to take my leave, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, have
Good rest, Amos.
fun.
Thank you so much for hanging.
It was very fun.
Yeah, enjoy your repo.
Adios.
Bye.
Later.
My repo was pretty cool. The guys just kind of came up and they didn't want to drive it onto the truck, so they had me do it.
Why are you suddenly so much more quieter than before?
He's smaller.
My bad,
You just
Pog-chan.
You shrunk.
He just
It's
shrunk
cold.
in his chair.
It's
cold in
cold. It's nighttime.
It's night. The lights. Look, without the heat of the sun, when you're dealing with microns, thermal expansion's a large contributor.
Dude, my cat just while she was telling the story, my cat pushed open my office door like he pays bills. Stood there and stared at me for a couple seconds. And then I looked away. I look back, he's gone. I'm like, okay, well that's normal. He just opens my office door, harasses me visually, and then leaves. I look back and like I really like softly feel something like touching my side from behind my chair. He's under my chair, reaching up and poking me, so I put my hand down so that he can grab my fingers.
Is it Murphy?
It's dinner time.
Stoked.
What?
Should we get an association card for Murphy? Because I feel like it's going to be something. I feel like Murphy is an entity in Milk's house.
Oh yeah.
It's not. Is it not an actual cat?
It's
like
my cat, but he's
there's something. You know how Donut's got a little bit of something going on.
Okay. I'm afraid.
Murphy's got a little bit of something going on. It's a cat, but there's something else there.
he knows things. I love him though. My cats are fucking amazing.
Milk, if you had to charge Murphy rent, how much would you charge him?
I'd probably start with like $250 a month. But then he actually does some work around here, so I'd probably.
I'm not laughing at that. Sorry,
Yes, he is. Don't believe him.
I'm not. I want to see this really quick.
I'd probably let him stay if he buys me McDonald's once a month.
It's such a gracious
He's
rent.
just a chill guy.
That's basically how I function.
Like, just bring me some food every now and then. I'm like, I'm cool. He tries. He brings me mice.
Not the correct food.
It's not the correct food. It is food.
This guy's awful at hunting. Here's a mouse.
It's like, I'm so tired of trying to take care of you. Here's some food. Do better next month, okay? Like, your quota is still 3 mice, and you haven't met it in 3 years. Like, I don't know what we're doing anymore. And this whole going outside, I look out there all the time. There's nothing out there. I don't know what you're doing with that. You should stop that, first off.
Stop that first off. You're forbidden. Don't cross the street unless you ask me first. Those are your boundaries.
The worst part is too, like, my cats are kind of weird because Murphy will sit more so than the other two cats. Will sit and look out the sliding glass door, or he'll like sit on the back of the couch and just stare outside. And you'd think that means he really wants to go outside. And he'll be sitting there at the sliding glass door. I'll go open it, like all the way, and he'll just kind of sit there and look. And then he realizes, like, oh, there's no air conditioning out there?
Fuck that. I'm out.
And he just kind of turns around, like, or I go out and he just kind of looks at me like, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah, like Tater does.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what the fuck?
There was a wall there a second ago. How'd you do that?
You're a wizard.
Which is the polar opposite of Murphy's sister, who wanted to go outside. Momo wanted to go outside so bad. Like, that was all she wanted. She wanted to get out the window. She wanted to get out the door. And then she got outside. And we didn't see her again.
No.
She found a new family. She started having kids.
Yeah, she's up on a farm upstate.
No, she had kids before she left. The kids are here.
Oh.
The kids don't want to go outside.
They're like, no, mom's outside.
Yeah, we're pretty sure
That's mom's house.
That's
Yeah,
mom's
if you go outside, you get eaten.
Stoat, I told you the story about when Jack thought he was gonna die. He had to shit himself so bad.
What?
So, this is at the last house that I lived in with Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
For stream, that is my ex. She had a dog that was a little, maybe 5-pound Maltese, bow-legged as fuck, massive overbite, Napoleon
Rude as hell.
complex, real dickbag.
Yeah.
Love that fucking thing. He is codependent as you can imagine a dog being. So she's at work and our landlord is stopping by for some inspection thing or something that day. I don't remember what this issue was with the house. There were dozens. And so
Was it the basement?
yeah, probably it was probably one of the times it flooded.
Antique home and all that.
Yeah. So I put Donut and Jack out in the yard, which has a chain link fence. Woohoo, good recovery. Has a chain link fence. So I put them out in the yard. Landlord comes in, or parks out front. So I go out front to go and greet her to bring her in, and Jack is just gone.
Uh-oh.
All morning, I could not get Jack to go outside. Excuse me. I sat out there for 20 minutes with him, and he did not go to the bathroom at all. I was like, okay, he just doesn't have to go, whatever. He disappears. So I tell my landlord, I was like, hey, go do whatever you have to do in the house. I have to go find my fucking dog because my wife is going to beat my ass. Like, I'll be back eventually. I start driving through the neighborhood. I start calling his name. I'm doing the whole thing. I have the squeaky toys. I'm yelling for him, whatever. As I'm about to pull back into my house, I look up the road and I just see him marching down the sidewalk on his way to the house, trotting along happy as can be, like no urgency.
Just went on a walk.
And I'm like, Jack, what the fuck? Like, what? Get over here. What the fuck? And he runs on over and I open the gate for him and he runs on up and I'm like, what the hell? Holy shit. Like, you're fine. But like, what the fuck? And then I notice as he's running up the stairs to get into the house, he's got a little bit of red on his little dog ass. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I realized as I put him inside and then I left to go to the store a little bit later and I went up the way that he went and I realized every time we go on a walk, there's a tree up there. This dog thought he was gonna die So he left to be alone to die, found his shitting tree, and shit himself so well that he decided to trot on back to the house and just go about his happy day.
I actually don't think I heard about that.
Yeah, dude. It was a nightmare for me. I was horrified.
That's so funny though. Like, why?
Yeah, he's just like shaking all morning. And he's like, I'm gonna die.
That's what it was like, dude. He was like all freaked out all morning. Like, I thought a storm was coming or something.
He just had to take a real bad shit.
He had to poop real bad. He's got the cold sweats.
He's sitting there. He took the top part of his fur off, like a jacket, just sitting in the corner.
He's got the Tom and Jerry wife beater on.
And he's got the gloves. His arms are still. He's got his paws, but the arms are shaved. And the neck up is totally dog too. Totally fur. It's just like a t-shirt cut off of him. Oh. I can only imagine him sitting there because he's so bow-legged, where instead of, you know how like you put him up and his donut does the arms out thing straight ahead?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does
I
the same
imagine
thing,
him
but
standing there like a VR chat A-frame. That was one bow-legged fucking dog, dude.
He comes back and he's like kind of waddling a little bit, like not wanting his butt cheeks to touch.
Oh. God. Sorry, I'm working on the project.
Oh, that poor little thing.
Where's my battery at? 11, okay.
It's looking like I'm going to have another drive-through penalty on my next stint.
Oh? Why?
Because we've racked up an extreme number of incidents over the course of the event here. So we found out that we can't pit on a drive-through penalty. That was a educational moment, because we were planning to stop, do the driver change out tires, refuel, do the whole thing, and serve the penalty because we were supposed to go into the pits. Apparently that doesn't count. So we pitted, drove out, and we still had the black flag. So we had to come back around and serve the black flag again. And we are 2 points away from serving another drive-through penalty. So 2 off tracks, a spin out, any level of extreme collision that we're going through again. We're up to 88 incidents.
Or is an incident also counted if somebody were to hit you, or like a non-fault? Okay, so it's collision in general.
Yes.
That sucks.
So if we nudge someone, then it's marked as an incident, but it's no points. It has to be essentially inflicting damage. But if they go on to strike a wall or hit someone else, we might get a retroactive 4-point incident, 4 points of incident points.
Makes sense. Okay.
So there's all sorts of little
it's obviously whether or not it leads to something further along or something like that.
Yep. Like the one where the prototypes essentially slammed into each other behind me at the hairpin. We got 2 points of penalty for that because they touched us.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I don't know how I was supposed to avoid that. All I saw was carnage behind me, but...
Basically, they were like, you have cuties now.
Yes, exactly. Essentially, it was wrong place, wrong time, multiple times today.
Yeah.
We would, if we were able to go back and mitigate all of the points of issues, we'd probably be top 10 or better. If I had to venture a guess, we've had too many incidents of not being cautious. And the farther along we got in the race and knowing that we're not going to make it to top 10, now we're just kind of like, let's get to the end, but let's not let people fuck with us.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So-
really lock in.
Hmm?
I said just hold on
Hold
and just
down.
really lock into it. Hold the spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Just finish. The goal at this point is to just get through it, get everybody the stints that we plan to, see how far we can get, and then a big retrospective as a team afterwards to try and figure out, okay, what do we need to do to win next time? And what it's coming down to is it looks like everybody needs to individually work on their racecraft.
Yeah, this has been super insightful to see that definitely different driving styles, different racing styles, different processes in terms of attacks and defending and things like that. It's been super cool to see everybody's unique contribution to it.
Yeah, I tried to demonstrate as much as possible how to hold people back.
Yeah, and it's been locking in. We were talking about your ability to control both people kind of ahead of you in order to make them snap, but also kind of get people blocked out behind you, because you, even if somebody's going in to rightfully pass, you still have the say of when they get to go.
Yep. Whenever the first place drivers would come up on us, we tried to hold them in place as much as possible, because it gives us more opportunity later on in the day if they're not constantly lapping us. So what I would do is go into a standard defense of essentially sitting in the middle of the road, making them choose whether they go in to the inside or the outside, giving us the opportunity to make plays based on that. And none of them wanted to commit. So we had them held there for like 5 laps at a time. So we probably independently held back the lead drivers 10 laps, 15 laps. I'm sure they're not happy with us, but we weren't doing anything that we weren't supposed to.
I mean, that's the game, right? That's also a big part of the endurance part of it that I think a lot of people don't bring into mention or bring into thought when they're kind of observing this from the outside, unless they're really in it.
Exactly. Well, next time around, it's going to be a much more in-depth experience and longer. It's going to be interesting how many people make it to the end of the next one.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's going to be a whole nother challenge. We're trying to figure out what to do in between now and then. And there's all sorts of stuff on the table. I'd like to do more individual and team-based iRacing stuff to build everyone's skills up. But there's also some fun stuff that we'd like to do. Car-related, non-car related, and everything else.
Team bonding and all that.
Team bonding, get everybody on the same page, make them want it even more than they do already.
It's definitely going to be a fun, I wouldn't say challenge, but I don't know how else to describe that.
I mean, it is. It's kind of like undertaking any other project, really. It's just a new thing.
Yep, it's that's kind of the thing that I prefer to do. I'm very much a team builder, so I like to pull people in that are like-minded, who want to achieve something similar, and get the right people in the right spot, and then get them the right help to be able to improve. We've got a long ways to go, but this has kind of exposed what the next steps are.
Yeah. For sure.
Aggression from at least 3 of our drivers needs to be brought up. They need to know how to attack better. I need better car control. There's a handful of moments in which I overdrove the car. Says is the same way. She's having issues overdriving the car when the tires start wearing out.
Mm-hmm.
And Edge needs some all-around practice in actual race scenarios.
That was a point that I wanted to touch on with you at one point, because I know at the end of this race you probably have mounds and mounds and mounds of actual data
Notes,
points. Yeah, notes, but also like raw computational data too. Do you have systems in place to digest that?
Yeah, essentially. So there's a lot of lap data that I can pull in, and then I use every middle manager's favorite tool, spreadsheets.
Fair enough. Are you an Excel or a G Sheets guy?
Whatever's at my disposal. When it comes to dealing with
a man after my heart, the way to do it.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter to me which one, because I'm proficient in both. But the thing is, when it comes to using Google Sheets, I can distribute that easier.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
that's my role with it now.
Same.
So much easier to just hand off.
Yep. However, I'm an avid VBA programmer, so I can actually create custom tools inside Excel
Nice.
for being able to do stuff like that. So there's benefits either way, but I don't need to create anything so complex. I just need to plug in some data, grab snippets from each one of the racers' incident points, and do some analysis. And highlight reels are going to be beneficial there, because we'll be able to pull everybody's individual stints.
If you have timestamps available for in-race and stuff too, I bet if you and Soup sat down for an afternoon, you could probably have her at the very least pull highlight clips.
Oh, sure.
For you guys to pass along, and that would probably be run. She just won't. She's not as familiar with racing, so like trying to tell the story of the highlights won't. It won't be her flow. But if she has somebody there to say, "Hey, grab this chunk," and slap
sure.
it in, yeah.
Now, it's pretty easy what we're going to grab. The first step is going to be grabbing every single collision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You hit the wall, you hit a car, you got hit by a car, all of that, who's driving, when, what happened during your time. All the other stuff isn't that useful. Pulling in information about your car position or anything like that, that's all stuff that needs to be worked on in practices. So it's kind of like when you're studying for your private pilot's license or any pilot's license, you look at aircraft incidents and go, what was the decision pattern that ended in this result? Like, why did the plane that Sully was flying land in the water? So you look at the decision cycle that led up to the final incident of them entering the water, and then you try and figure out what could be done earlier to keep that from occurring. That's the same thing that has to be done with race incidents, is where was the first mistake made? When you recognize that first mistake, can you avoid it in the future? And then learning from that. It's one of the reasons as a racer to watch races live or otherwise.
So that's to say that each digestion session is much less of a do this next time, but more of a discovery session to really dive down and figure out what happened and why, and then it becomes the do this next time, do that next time.
Right, and most drivers, at least on the team so far, are able to self-analyze. They're their own worst critics.
Oh, of course, of course. Going back to the craft thing, I think that's something harmonious with any form of craft, be it art or sport or anything like that. It's everybody's extremely self-analytical.
Yeah, sometimes to their detriment. So I myself will go through every little incident of my own. I know Says will be. Oop, yellow flag, what's going on? Something up front. Who wrecked? Oh, there goes a Porsche.
You want to hit
So-
blunt stoke?
Yeah, I can do blunt.
You can see
That'll
if
be
you
an
can get a
interesting
little bit
view.
wider, yeah.
It's definitely easier for the nighttime, for sure.
Ooh,
But yeah,
beautiful
we've,
acceleration out of there.
But yeah, Says has a tendency to analyze in the same way I do, so she'll be picking her performance apart the entire time. Everybody else, on the other hand, will kind of have to be forced to do so because they don't like looking at their own incidents, because they don't like beating themselves up about it.
Sure.
And I don't want to beat people up. I just want to draw their attention to it so that we can figure out what to do.
Constructive criticism. Yeah.
Yep, but
oh, sorry, go ahead.
it's difficult to show people what's constructive and what's not.
Yeah.
Like not everybody takes it the same way.
Yeah. It's learning though, just to learn to look at something as I don't want to I can't think of another word besides factual, you know, because shit happens and like specific actions do have consequences, and you do have to learn that like that's just the situation that did happen. Like there's no changing it back. There's no, you know.
It's acceptance. You just it's acceptance, and it's just processing everything as it comes. That's it's finding the balance between the mind game and the physicality, because you can mind game everything to perfection, but at some point you're burning more energy doing that than the actual activity is taking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know Says is going to be beating herself up about the Sunset Turns wall incident because I had asked her about a lap beforehand if she wanted to come in early. And she said she wanted to stay out, and it wasn't more than a half a lap later that she was in the wall.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just like that too. I mean, sometimes an thing like that can just spring out, and it's unfortunate when things align like that, because I mean, all of the lines that I was seeing were really solid for everything. I didn't really see anything, at least from my side, not like I'm trained in it like you guys are, but she had one of the really smoothest sets that we've seen in most of the evening. Yep.
Yeah, we've been watching the track temperatures very closely.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So at its peak, the track was 225 degrees on its surface, or 125. Sorry, 125 degrees.
Okay, I was like, wow, wait a minute.
Not 225, 125, which is extreme. The road contact for the tires were not cooling at all. Oh shit, she just got black flagged.
Oh no.
So she's got to drive through. She's got 10 laps to go. So she'll be pit limiting and going through. So yeah, no, it's now the tires are sitting below standard operating temperature for us. So it's really easy to control the car, but it's also now really difficult to see.
Right. So now that you have all that grip and extra force to your advantage, it's tough to take advantage of it because the clarity is not always there.
Yep.
There's to bounce back in terms of digestion to moving these things. One of the things that I learned, I over the last few years have been enveloped in the software development and developer operations world a good bit. And one of my last managers / mentors recommended me a book. I wish I could remember the name of it. I'd have to find it. But it was basically like an idealistic utopian DevOps field guide conveyed through a story. No, it was the other one. It was one of the projects, not the Phoenix project, but the one before that. Because the Phoenix project, I think, was the secondary one. Regardless, the whole book is a story, and it's a metaphor for how software development works akin to manufacturing production. But in reality, it's about how realistically any flow of energy is moving along that line. And one of the things inside of that book that he really honed in on was one of the people on their team was very much like that in their own head about patches that they would push out or blocks that they were trying to debug and break, and they would sit on patches for too long, even though it's totally permissible to put in the current state and then update after. And so during an incident, whenever there's an incident report, we would go through this process then that was adopted from the book called a blameless postmortem. and
Sure.
we would go through a run through of everything, and it was exactly, this is exactly what happened. Of course, so and so may have had their hands on it, but it doesn't mean inclination of this. It doesn't mean that, like, yeah, it happened, your hands were on it, but it doesn't mean that I'm blaming you because it happened. It's just what has happened. It's that spur of the moment thing that you have as it's happening, just brought back to that same perspective in the retrospective. And that helped so much for me internally with my self-think for things that I was sitting on for projects and stuff. Something about having it framed in the mindset of like, oh man, if I'd done that, or if I'd done that, it like really puts it back in the headspace of like, I should have done better, I should have done better, which I totally get if that's what happens. But as soon as somebody's like, yeah, and then they just came up there and this happened, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I could have avoided that doing this. I should do that next time. Something about just the reframing and approach just really works.
Kind of difficult to do in this sort of environment, though, when it comes to personal performance contributing individually to a team.
100%, yeah.
Because being a software dev myself, I'm very familiar with the idea of, because you were holding a problem doesn't mean it was your fault that it didn't work out quite right.
It's Oh, I thought that was about to be an overtake for a second. I was like, wait a minute, that looked really weird.
No, there's no way that she should be overtaking a.
Yeah, that's why I was like, hold on. The tree caught me for a second. I was like, wait. It's going into the team aspect of it is definitely a bigger part, because then you're definitely analyzing who's pulling what and breaking what. It comes down to a game of numbers at that point.
Right. Right. Here we have more of a, everybody's trained for a specific event. We've been watching their progress. When one person screws up, it's very obvious, and not necessarily their fault all the time. There's a lot of outside factors. Like if the track were empty right from the beginning, and it was just us running for 12 hours straight by ourselves, and you screwed up, yeah, that's on you.
Yeah, of course.
But getting run into by a GTP, getting slammed into along the sides, spinning someone out in a corner because they decided to brake too soon, that's all expected sort of racing incidents. Yeah, exactly. So it's situations out of the control of the individual driver.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that everybody's going to blame themselves for because they didn't see it coming. But
of course,
really, it
2020.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, we'll be doing a lot of analysis like that and seeing what we can come up with. It's looking like I might be the last driver this evening, based on our times. There's an hour and 7 minutes left. Says has 8 more laps left on this tank of fuel, which means if she goes to the end in 16 minutes, then I should be wrapping up with a full stint.
Nice.
Which will put us at how many laps? How many laps have we turned? 291 laps. 8 more laps, 299. 324, 325 will be where we'll end up, which is about 6 laps less than what we were aiming for. Actually, almost 16 laps less than what we were aiming for. So yeah, that's going to be
not going to be another switch off after you. Like once your stint starts, like that's it.
Unless something happens to me, I should be the last driver. Edge was supposed to be the finishing driver, but the stints kept getting shifted farther and farther back because of time in pits.
So this is that now having to set the higher count on your end that you were talking about before, correct?
Higher count on my end?
For the highest lap count. Because everybody has to have a certain percentage of laps below that.
Oh, no. We are in a position where everybody has the necessary laps.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So we are fully in qualification for everyone. Everyone needed to pull a minimum of 16 laps, it looks like they're estimating. By the time I'm done, I will be 106 laps.
Nice.
Says we'll have 51, Edge will have 67, Star will have 54, and Rally will have 47. So it didn't quite work out as cleanly as what we were anticipating, but
It's still really close.
Nothing ever goes to plan. Our estimate was if we held the standard and nothing bad happened, and we did exactly the times we were expecting, we should have had 337 laps.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be short by 18, most likely.
Okay, but that's not bad considering like the pit times that and the crashes that did happen. Like that's still really good.
Really solid
Oh, sure.
mitigation.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Aggressive take on that corner.
Yeah, that was a really good one. Oh, they're flashing her though. Yep, there it goes.
Yeah, that's just what everybody's been doing.
Yeah, I thought it was the Porsche behind her for a minute. I was like, wait a minute. Yep,
Ooh,
an
that
aggressive
sucks
take
getting
there.
stuck on that outside line.
Oh, is that no? That's the AMG, isn't it?
Yeah, in front of him.
Holy crap! Oh, it's Chandler Baker.
Yeah, that's the
Weird.
AMG. That AMG. Oh no, that is a Porsche. Okay, never mind. I thought that was
Yep.
the black and green AMG.
Nope. That's the Porsche we were duking it out with once before. We've had a couple of run-ins with a variety of like several of the same cars. So like I kept passing the one group that I pitted on lap 6. Like over and over again, I'd come up behind them. I'm like, is this the lap they're gonna take revenge?
Whoa, interesting shake on their side. I wonder what that was for.
I don't know. They're falling behind, so it's almost like they were trying to make some sort of move that didn't pan out.
Nice and tight through there. Yep. There we go. Ooh. Oh, okay. Never mind.
That was a 204.7.
It's pretty good because qual time was 2:10, wasn't it?
Oh, for us? No, qual time was 205, 204.
Or qual standard was 2:10. You had to be 2:10 or better.
Oh, to be in the team, you mean?
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier.
Gotcha. No, we had set a minimum requirement of doing 8 laps, 2 minutes and 10 seconds or under, with no incidents. And it was kind of like the final test for everybody. And we had it set up so that everybody was watching everybody do their laps. So that way we upped the stress level to see if they were going to fold under pressure. And the only one who had issue initially was Star. We had recoached him through the week and had him retest on Thursday, and he did perfectly. So
Nice.
it ended up that we ended up getting everybody to meet the requirement. But 210 is the type of lap that Says and I, under normal empty track conditions, could essentially do in our sleep.
Yep.
It is a lazy lap, and so we went, if you can't do that, there's no way you're going
It
to
ain't
deal
gonna
with
work.
there's no way you're doing this here. So yeah, it's we had to change. Says decided to change her her teaching style to be able to get him to perform as anticipated.
Yeah, he was commenting about it during his interview. He was like, yeah, I honestly would not be here if it wasn't for Saz.
Yep. Yeah, she reworked how she was teaching him and decided that he wasn't placing the car in the correct spot. And in order to get him to do that, it was all about getting him to stop where the car should be at its closest point in the turn. And if you can stop there, then you can finish turning there. Just add a little bit more speed and go.
Yep.
And he shaved off like 6 seconds a lap.
Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
in a matter of an afternoon. It was perfect.
Nice.
But speaking of, I gotta jump over to VR and get in there. So
No worries, man.
Have good lucks and all the stuff for the final stint. I believe in you, Triggy.
sounds good. Thank you.
May your laps be slow and boring. Well, fast and boring, but you know what I mean. Feel slow and boring is what I wanted.